RLS Spanish presents Spanish Pronunciation. Why is it important to learn correct Spanish pronunciation? Spanish is spoken by more than 559 million people around the globe, making it the second most spoken language in the world, following Mandarin. Spanish is the official language in the following 20 countries and 1 U.S. territory:
España, Colombia, México, Chile, Paraguay, Venezuela, Argentina, Perú, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panamá, Ecuador, Bolivia, Uruguay, la República Dominicana, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Guinea Equatorial. One of the best ways to learn the correct Spanish pronunciation is to compare the sounds that the letters make in Spanish to the sounds that they make in English. So that is what we're going to go over today. To begin, I'd like to first start off by talking about the alphabet. So the Spanish alphabet is very similar to the English alphabet. We're going to go over the names of the letters. That's not super important with the pronunciation, but it does help a little bit. So we're going to go over all the letters in the alphabet, the names of the letters. Starting with the letter A. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, B chica, W, X, Y, Z. Now I'm going to go over those one more time, and I want you to repeat them after I say it, the name of the letter. So once again, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, B chica, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, now in Spanish, the alphabet and a lot of the the grammar rules and vocabulary and things like that are subject to a group called the Real Academia Española, which is, it's kind of just like a group that they're like the authorities over the language and over the grammar and that kind of thing. And they do kind of change things every once in a while. For example, over the years they have changed the alphabet, and letters that are officially considered letters of the alphabet and ones that are not. When I first learned Spanish about 20 years ago, there were two letters in the alphabet that I'm going to talk about right now that they no longer are considered parts of the alphabet, but they used to be. The first one is the letter Che, and the second one is the letter Eye. Okay, so Che and Eye. Like I said, those used to be in the alphabet, but are no longer now part of the alphabet. Okay. All right. One of the biggest things that you need to know for Spanish pronunciation to be able to get the pronunciation correct is, like I said, the differences between the sounds they make in Spanish and the sounds they make in English. Now, they use the same alphabet for the most part, same letters that we do in English. But that's where people get hung up is what sound does the letter make. One of the biggest differences, and something that will really help you, one of the biggest things that will help you, is knowing how the vowels work in Spanish and how it's different than it is in English. Okay, so for the vowels, just to repeat really quick which of the letters are the vowels, we have the following 5 letters. You have the A, E, O, U. So A, E, O, U. Those are the vowels. Now in English, these are actually a lot harder in English than they are in Spanish, because in English each of those vowels can make different sounds depending on the word that's used in the combination of letters. Okay. For example, in English, the letter A, you can have a long vowel, A, or a short vowel, A. And then sometimes it makes different sounds depending on what it's combined with. Like, for example, you can have the sound A, you can have the sound so you can have an A, an A, an and probably some other sounds in English. Okay. Same thing with the other vowels. All of them have at least a long vowel sound and a short vowel sound in English. Okay, like the E can have E or E. The I can be I or I. The O can be O or A. The U can be U or in English. Okay, now in Spanish, it is a lot simpler than that. In Spanish, each of those vowels only makes one sound, and it always, always, always will make the exact same sound, with very, very few exceptions, which we will go over later. Okay. Anyway, the letter A in Spanish, it's always going to make the same sound. The sound it always makes is the sound ah. Okay. So anytime you see an A in Spanish, it's always an ah. Or if you hear someone say ah, that is the letter A in Spanish. The letter E in Spanish always makes the sound A. Okay, so anytime you see an E, it's always going to make the sound A. And if you hear someone saying that sound A, the letter that goes with that sound is an E. Okay, so the word they're saying is going to have an E in it. The letter I in Spanish only makes one sound. It's always the same sound, and that sound is E. Okay, so anytime you hear someone say E, that is going to be a letter I in Spanish. And anytime you see an I, the way you're going to say it is an E. Then the letter O in Spanish always makes one sound. It's always the same sound. It only makes the sound O. Okay, so every time you see an O, you're going to say O. And anytime you hear someone say O, that's the letter O in Spanish. And then the letter U always, always makes the same sound. And the sound it's going to make is the sound oo. Okay, and that one, the letter U actually is the one that has a couple of exceptions, a few exceptions, which we'll talk about later on. Okay, but for now, just remember that it's an oo. If you ever hear the sound oo, that's always going to be a letter U in Spanish. Okay, it's never going to be a double O like it is in English, or anything else. It's always just going to be a U. Makes the sound oo. Okay. So with those vowels, those 5 vowels, there's a couple sayings that people use to kind of help you memorize those sounds. Okay. So the first saying goes like this. You say A, E, O, U, arbolito de Peru. A, E, O, U, arbolito de Peru. Now the reason they're using that phrase, arbolito de Peru, is because it has every one of those vowel sounds in there. You have an A, O, E, O, A, U. So, arbolito de Peru. Now what that phrase means, which isn't very important for right now since we're talking about pronunciation, but just so you know what it means, that means a little tree from Peru. Arbolito de Peru. Okay? So, A, E, O, U, arbolito de Peru. Now, another phrase that I've heard used to memorize those vowel sounds goes like this. You say, A, E, O, U, mi burro sabe más que tú. A, E, O, U, mi burro sabe más que tú. And I actually like to change it a little bit and say, A, E, O, U, mi burrito sabe más que tú. A, E, O, U, mi burrito sabe más que tú. Okay, same thing there. Mi burro sabe más que tú has all those vowel sounds in there. E, U, O, A, U. And if you change it to mi burrito sabe más que tú, it's going to have those in there too. You'd have E, U, E, O, A, U. Okay. And that phrase, well, like I said, which doesn't, you don't really need to know this, what it means, since we're talking about pronunciation, but what it means, just so you know, is my donkey knows more than you. So it's like A, E, I, O, U, A, E, O, U. My donkey knows more than you. Mi burro sabe más que tú. And if you change it to mi burrito sabe más que tú, that just means my little donkey knows more than you. Okay, so A, E, O, U, mi burrito sabe más que tú. So that's the first thing, and one of the biggest things that will help you with the correct pronunciation in Spanish, is getting those vowels correctly. So to practice that, what I'd like to do, first off, what we're going to do next is I'm going to take each of the letters in alphabetical order, and we're only going to skip some. If it basically does the same thing it does in English, we're going to skip it. Okay, but the letters that are different in Spanish and make where the sound is different or quite a bit different in Spanish than it is in English, what we're going to do is look at some words to compare the sounds they make in English and the sounds they make in Spanish. Now, these words that I've chosen have a special grammar term associated with them, with most of them, and that grammar term is a cognate. Okay, most of these words we're going to look at are cognates. Now, what that means is a cognate is a word that exists in more than one language, sometimes in multiple languages, and it's usually spelled either exactly the same or very similar in the different languages, spelled similarly in the different languages, and it means the same thing. Okay, some of, not all of them work that way, but most of them do. Okay, and not all the words we're going to look at here are cognates, but most of them are cognates. Okay, so what I want to point out about that, usually if you see these words, if you can see the word spelled out, you're going to recognize it and know what the word is. You're going to know what it means. You would know what the English word is, okay? Just by seeing the word, because it looks like the English word, it means the same thing as the English word, okay? But where people get messed up and held up on these sometimes is with the pronunciation, okay? So the first one I want to look at is this word. Okay, and the word in English, it would be the word accident. Okay, it's the word accident. And it's a cognate in Spanish, meaning it looks similar, means the same thing, but it's spelled just slightly different and the pronunciation is different. Okay, so if in English it would be the word accident, in Spanish it's the word accidente. Accidente. So in English you have accident, in Spanish accidente. Okay, so in English you'd say accident, in Spanish how would you say it? Accidente. Good job. Accidente. Okay, the next one would be the word activities in English. Okay, in Spanish, the way you're going to say the word activities is actividades. Actividades. Okay, so English, activities. In Spanish, you say actividades. Now, I would like to point out one thing with that one. There's a large group of cognates that one of the only differences, or almost the only difference, is that in Spanish it's going to end with DAD, and in English that is going to change to a TY. Okay, so for example, actividad would be activity in English. So that dad on the end, the DAD, would change to a TY when you change it to the English word. Okay, so activity in English, actividad in Spanish. Then when you make it plural, activities in English, actividades in Spanish. Okay. All right, the next word we're going to look at is the word, in English it's the word adult. In Spanish it's going to be the word adulto. So in English you say adult, in Spanish you say adulto. So English adult, what do you say in Spanish? Good job, adulto. Okay, the next one I want to look at is, in English it would be the word agent. Agent, okay? In Spanish, this is what it looks like. That's how you spell it. But instead of saying it, agent, you say it agente. Agente. Okay? So in English we have agent. In Spanish, agente. So in English, agent. How do you say in Spanish? Good job. Agente. Okay, the next one is the word air in English. In English, we'd say air. In Spanish, it's spelled like this. And the way you're going to say it is aire. Aire. Okay. Now remember, we started off saying that the vowels make different sounds in Spanish, or they work a little different in Spanish than they do in English. We will get to some of these other things here in a minute, like what the C does in Spanish, and the G is making a different sound. We'll get to that here in a minute. But for right now, I just want to talk about the vowels for a second. Okay, so let's go back and look. So the word accident, right? In English, accident, the A is making like an A sound, accident. But in Spanish, it's an A, accidente. Accidente, okay? So notice that when you have a bunch of vowels, you have A, you have the A, the I, and then two E's, right? So the A is going to say A, the I says E, and then both of those E's are going to say A. So you have accidente. And a good practice, something that helped me when I was learning Spanish, was when you see a word like that, the first thing you can do is just say the vowel sounds first, and then go back and say the word. So like with accidente, you'd say A-E-A-A, A-E-A-A, accidente, accidente. Okay, and the next word, as in English, it's activities. So in that one, in English, it makes an A sound. The A makes an A sound, activities. But in Spanish, it's an A sound, actividades. Actividades. Same thing there. You can practice the vowels. A, E, E, A, A. Actividades. Okay, the next word we had was adult in English. So in English, you'd say adult. And that one, the A is making like a sound, adult. But in Spanish, it's A, adulto. Adulto. Okay, so adult in English, adulto in Spanish. All right, and then the next one we had was agent. In English, the A makes an A sound, agent. But in Spanish, that A will make an A sound, agente. Agente. So not agente or not a gente, right? In Spanish, it's going to be an A sound, agente. Okay. Then our next word was the word air. In English, we would say air. Air. The A's kind of make, I don't know, that was kind of a weird one. The A's making kind of an A sound. Okay, but in Spanish, it's going to be an ah mixed with an E sound because you have the I right next to it. Ah and then E. And then the E on the end of the word in Spanish is going to make an A sound. So aire, aire, aire. Okay, that one's a little hard because the A and the I sound kind of mixed together. The A and the E. I. So it's not just a straight ah like the A will make in other words, but I, aire. Okay? So, accidente, actividades, adulto, agente, aire. Okay, I want to add some more words here. So the next one would be the word alarm in English. In Spanish, you're going to say alarma. Okay, so alarm in English. In Spanish, good job, alarma. Okay, next one in English, you'd say alter. Notice the two A's make different sounds in that in English. Alter, you have all and like a sound, kind of but in Spanish, they're both going to make the same sound, ah and ah. So it's altar, altar. In English, you say altar. In Spanish, you say altar. Good job. Okay, next one is in English is the word animal. Notice that this one's spelled exactly the same in Spanish, but the pronunciation is different. So in English, we say animal. In Spanish, you're going to say animal, animal. So in English, it's animal. In Spanish, you say, good job, animal. Remember, you have the vowels in there. A, E, A. Animal. Okay, the next one in English would be the word area. Area, but in Spanish, you're going to say area. Area. Okay, in English, area. In Spanish, you'd say area. Good. Okay, the next one in English, you would say artificial. But in Spanish, you're going to say artificial. Artificial. So in English, it's artificial, but in Spanish, you say, good job, artificial. Okay, the next one is the word artist in English. In English, we'd say artist, but in Spanish, you're going to say artista. Artista. Okay, so in English, it's artist, but in Spanish, you say, good, artista. Okay, the next one in English would be the word atmosphere. In Spanish, the way you're going to say this word is atmosfera. Atmosfera. So in English, we say atmosphere. In Spanish, you say atmosfera. Good. Atmosfera. Okay, the next one in English, you'd say attention. In Spanish, you're going to say atención. Atención. Good. In English, it's attention. In Spanish, you say, good job, atención. Okay, the next one in English, you'd say aviation. But in Spanish, it's going to be aviación. Aviación. Good. In English, it's aviation. In Spanish, you say, good, aviación. Okay, the next one, this one, we say it the same way in English. It'd be the word ay, like ay. Okay, we've kind of borrowed that one from Spanish. That's why it is spelled the same and makes the same sound. Because if you think about it, that one, if it was just an English word, we'd probably say a, like in the word hey, or bay, or pay. Those all make that a sound. But this one, since we kind of adopted it from Spanish, we don't say a, we say I. Okay, so that's how you say in Spanish, I. Okay, like ay, ay, ay. Okay, good. So how do you say that one? Good. Ay. All right, the next one in English would be the word banana. Notice with that in English, all those A's make kind of different sounds. Banana. I guess it's banana. But in Spanish, they're all going to make an ah sound, every single one. Okay, so it's going to be banana. In Spanish, you say banana. So in English, you say banana. In Spanish, you say, good job, banana. Okay. All right, the next one. In English, we'd say brutal. Brutal, but in Spanish, you're going to say brutal. Brutal. Good. In English, it's brutal, but in Spanish, you'd say, good, brutal. Brutal. Okay, the next one. In English, we would say cable. Notice it's making an A sound, but in Spanish, it's going to be an A sound. Okay, and another thing on this one, we'll talk about this more later, but in Spanish, the E is never silent. Okay, in English, that letter E on cable is silent. But in Spanish, it's not going to be silent. It always makes the exact same sound. It's going to be the sound A. Okay, so the letter A makes an A sound. The letter E makes an A sound. So in English, you say cable. In Spanish, you're going to say cable. Okay, cable. So in English, we say cable. In Spanish, you say, good, cable. Cable. Okay, good. All right, our next word in English is the word canal. Okay, canal. In Spanish, the way you're going to say it is canal. Canal. In English, it's canal. In Spanish, you say canal. Okay, in English, canal. In Spanish, you say, good, canal. Now, just so you know on that one, that's also a cognate with the word channel in English. So the way they say channel in Spanish is this word, canal. Okay, like a channel on TV, you'd say canal. Or a canal, like a big ditch with water, that's also canal. Okay, so in Spanish, canal, it can mean channel or it can mean canal. All right, the next one is in English, it's the word cancer. The way we say it is cancer. But in Spanish, you're going to say cáncer. Cáncer. Okay, good. So in English, it's cancer. In Spanish, you're going to say, good, cáncer. Okay, good. Next one. In English, we'd say capital. Capital. And once again, notice the two A's in that word make different sounds in English, but in Spanish, they're both going to say ah. A, ah. So we're going to have capital. Okay, capital. In English, capital. In Spanish, capital. Okay, so in English, you say capital. In Spanish, you'd say, good, capital. Okay, good. The next one. In English, we would say central. Central. But in Spanish, you're going to say central. Central. Good. In English, it's central. In Spanish, you say, good, central. Okay. All right, next one. In English, we'd say criminal. But in Spanish, you're going to say criminal. Good. So in English, it's criminal. In Spanish, you say criminal. Good, criminal. Okay, the next word. In English, we'd say cultural. But in Spanish, you're going to say cultural. Cultural. In English, it's cultural. In Spanish, you say, good, cultural. Okay, in English, this next one would be editorial, but in Spanish, you're going to say editorial. Editorial. So in English, editorial. In Spanish, you say, good, editorial. Okay, good. The next one, a similar word. In English, we'd say electoral, like the electoral college that elects the president of the United States. In English, electoral. In Spanish, you'd say electoral. Electoral. Good. So electoral in English, but in Spanish, you say, good, electoral. Okay, the next one. In English, we'd say elemental, but in Spanish, you're going to say elemental. Elemental. Good. So elemental in English, but in Spanish, elemental. Very good. Okay, next one. In English, you'd say experimental, but in Spanish, you're going to say experimental. Experimental. So experimental in English, but in Spanish, experimental. Good. Okay, next one. In English, you'd say fatal, but in Spanish, you're going to say fatal. Good. Fatal. So in English, fatal. In Spanish, fatal. Good. Next one. In English, you say federal, but in Spanish, you're going to say federal. Federal. Good. Okay, in English, federal. In Spanish, federal. Good. Okay, the next one. In English, you say festival, but in Spanish, you're going to say festival. Festival. So in English, festival. In Spanish, festival. Good. Festival. Okay, in English, the next one would be the word final, but in Spanish, you're going to say final. Final. So in English, it's final. In Spanish, it's final. Good. Very good. Okay, our next one. In English, you'd say funeral. Funeral, but in Spanish, you're going to say funeral. Funeral. Good. Okay, this next one, I want to throw one in here that's not a cognate. Okay, and what I mean by that, this one doesn't mean the same thing in Spanish as it does in English. It looks like an English word, but it means something different. Okay, so here's the word. Okay, good. So in English, the way you would say it is hey, right? That would be the word hey. Now this word in Spanish, it doesn't mean hey. This word means there is or there are. Like when you're saying like there is a house in front of me, or there is a boy at my house, or something like that. Anyway, there is this word. Okay, so, but what I'm pointing out here is in English, the way you would say it is hey, but in Spanish, the way you would pronounce this one is I. Okay, so in English it's hey. In Spanish, you say I. Okay, we'll talk more about this later, but the letter H, just so you know for this one, the letter H is always silent in Spanish. Okay, so that's why this one is in Spanish you say I. So the H is silent, and the letter A makes an ah sound, and the letter Y makes an E sound. Okay. So anyway, I. Okay. All right. This next one, in English we'd say invasion. In Spanish, you're going to say invasión. So in English, invasion. In Spanish, invasión. Okay, good. All right. This next one. Okay, and this one is one that actually is really hard for a lot of English speakers, just because we just want to say it the English way when we see this one. Okay, and there's a couple you'll see here that are that way. Anyway, where we just want to say it the English way as English speakers. But this one, so in English you say mango. Okay, but remember that in Spanish the A is always going to make an ah sound. Okay, so in English it's mango, but in Spanish you're going to say mango. Mango. Okay, so in English, mango. In Spanish, mango. Okay, good. All right, this next one I'm going to throw in here. Once again, this one is a cognate, but it's not the cognate that it makes us think of as English speakers. Okay, so here's the word. Okay, good. So when we see this, we might think, as English speakers, we might think that means mayo, like mayonnaise. Okay, but that's not what this one means. It actually is the month May. Okay, so the way we'd say the word in English would be the word May. In Spanish, the way you would pronounce this is mayo. Mayo. Okay, so that one's also kind of a hard one because we have the word mayo in English for mayonnaise, and the way you would pronounce it is mayo. But in Spanish, this one means May, the month May, and the way you pronounce it is mayo. Okay. All right, so in English it's May. In Spanish you'd say, good, mayo. Okay. All right, this next one, another one we, as English speakers, want to say it the English way. Okay, here's the word. Good, so in English it's the word radio. We'd say radio, but remember in Spanish the A is going to make an ah sound. So in Spanish you say radio. So instead of radio, you're going to say radio. Okay. Okay, the next one. Okay, this one is a cognate. Okay, in English it would be the word ranch. I don't think they use this for like ranch dressing, but it means ranch, like a ranch where you would raise cattle, that kind of ranch. Okay, so anyway, in English we'd say ranch, or the A would make an A sound, ranch. But in Spanish it makes an A sound. The A always makes an A sound. So in Spanish you're going to say rancho. So in English you say ranch. In Spanish you say rancho. Good. Okay, this next word, this one's really easy. Okay, so here's the word. Okay, good. In English you'd say solar. Okay, now the A and the letter A is the part that makes a different sound though in Spanish. So in English we say solar, but in Spanish the A makes an A sound, so you're going to say solar. So in English it's solar, in Spanish you say solar. Okay, good. Okay, this next one is a word that we adopted from Spanish, so most English speakers do know how to say this one the right way. The Spanish way, because that's where it came from. Anyway, here's the word. Okay, good. So the way you say this one in English, most English speakers are going to say tamales, which is the right word. In Spanish, it's also going to be tamales. Okay, so in English, we'd say tamales. In Spanish, you're going to say tamales. Now, one thing I will point out about that one is if it actually was an English word, we probably would pronounce it different, right? We'd probably say like tamales or something. Because, for example, we have the word females in in English. So look at this word. When we say that is females, we don't say females, right? But since this one came from Spanish, we just kind of adopted that pronunciation, tamales. Okay. All right, this next one is the same story. Okay, how do you say this word? Good. Tacos, right? Tacos. So in English we say tacos. In Spanish it's also tacos. That one we just adopted it from Spanish, so that's why we say it the right way. I will point out that if it was an English word, we'd probably say it different, right? For example, like in English we have like the word tack, like tic-tac, tic-tac-toe, right? So if it was an English word, if it were an English word, we'd probably say tacos or tacos or tacos or something like that, right? But the correct way to say it in Spanish is tacos. Okay. All right. I want to throw in here just a couple of words. Let me look real quick. I think there's just one that we didn't talk about that I want to throw in here. So they have a word in Spanish that looks like this. Okay. Good. So it looks like the letter A. Okay. And I've heard a lot of, and the reason I'm pointing this out, this one's not a cognate. Okay, so it doesn't mean like one or a or an. Like I have a house or this is an apple. Okay, it doesn't mean that. The letter A, this A in Spanish, it actually can mean a couple different things. It can be the preposition that means to. So like I'm going to a place. It can also mean at. Okay, like when you're saying at 5 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, you use this with that phrase. Okay, and they also have a thing in Spanish that's called a personal a, which, so it's just an A by itself, and what they do with it in Spanish is it indicates that a verb is happening to a person. Okay, so we don't have that same rule in English, so like when you see that in Spanish, it actually doesn't translate to anything in English. But I want you to know how to pronounce it. Okay, so I'm trying to point out a couple things there. One is that it doesn't mean a or an or one like it would in English. The other thing is the pronunciation is different. Okay, so anyway, anytime you see this in Spanish, you're going to say ah. Okay, so like for example, if you say voy a mi casa, that means I'm going to my house. Okay, or if you say a la una, that means at 1 o'clock. Okay. Anyway, I've seen English speakers that will say a or when they see that, but it's the way you pronounce it in Spanish is ah. Okay. All right. Okay. The last thing I'd like to do to wrap this up, and just so you know, I'm going to come up come out with other videos about other letters. This one was, mostly about the letter A. But since it's taking a long time, I'll go through and make some other ones about the other letters and their pronunciation in Spanish. Okay. Just so you know, the next one I'm planning to do will be about the letter B and the letter V. The reason I'm grouping those together is because they make the same sound in Spanish. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in that video. But to wrap this one up, I just want to run through these words we went over, the ones with A's in them, one last time, and just say them with me. I'm going to go through and say them with me, or if you want, you could, listen to me say it and pause it and say it yourself, or pause it before I say it and say it yourself and then listen to me say it. Or you can just say it along with me. Okay, so I'm going to put the word on the screen and then do the Spanish pronunciation. Okay, so we have accidente, actividades, adulto, agente, aire, alarma, altar, animal, área, artificial, artista, atmósfera, atención, aviación, hay, banana, brutal, cable, canal, cáncer, capital, central, criminal, cultural, editorial, electoral, elemental, experimental, fatal, federal, festival, final, funeral, hay, invasión, mango, mayo, radio, rancho, solar, tamales, tacos. Alright, thank you very much. Please check out the next videos. That is how you pronounce the letter A in Spanish. Thank you, and we hope to see you again soon.